Oh, Aimee White with Worthy Written Words. Today we're in our New Testament journaling edition and we're going to be in Acts chapter 17, verse 25. Using the big piece of cardstock with your lungs, I'm assuming that everybody's Bible is a little different, so I left this open so that you can cut it where it best fits for your Bible and its margins. So first I'm going to fold it on this side of the paper, and I'm going to fold it so that it's close to the lungs, and I'm going to make that crease really good by using a bone folder, and I'm just going to make it like it's a really good crease. Then I'm going to measure how wide my margins are so that I can cut off the excess so that it's not covering up the words. So you can see here I have maybe like 1/4 of an inch or so that I need to cut off with a paper cutter. Enter said paper cutter. I am going to cut a little bit off and remeasure it. And once I have it so that it fills the margin but not cover up any words, then I'm going to figure out where I need to cut it on the other side so that it will not go too far onto the page. So I'm cutting off any excess. So now you have created this really nice, beautiful tip-in that we will eventually hook into our margins. For now, we're going to use these stickers and we're going to add the flowers to the lungs, and we're going to fill it out a little bit so that they look a little bit more like lungs and not just tree branches. So I have a bunch of repetitive stickers, and so you can put some on each side to kind of even them out. And this is where you can really be creative and put them wherever you think it looks good and whatever you like. One thing to keep in mind is that there is a light on these stickers and a shadow on these stickers. And so to keep things looking not weird, make sure that you have the light and the shadows facing the same way when you put these on. So I'm doing it so that the light is on the top and the shadow is on the bottom. And also, if you remove these stickers right away, then if you mess up, you can pick them up and move them around. But if they stay on for a little bit longer, then you'll probably ruin the sticker when you pull it up. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to use all of the stickers that are on this little sticker sheet. It's totally up to you how full or how simple you want it to be. So now we're going to glue this piece of paper into this inside of our tip-in. And because again, I didn't know how big it would need to be for your book, I just made it a little bit bigger so everybody can cut it to what they made it. And then when this is done, we're going to work on decorating the other side before we attach it to the inside of our tip-in. I'm going to use a craft mat here just to protect my background, and using the stencil and this texture paste and the palette knife, it might look a little different than what you're seeing here, and this scraper. These are the tools that you're going to need from your kit for this next part. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting our stencil in the corners at a diagonal, and we're going to be adding the texture paste by using the palette knife to get it out of the kit, out of the container, and then using the swiper tool to push it into those holes of the stencil, and then you can remove the excess to be able to put it in other places. Now you can see that I have like some blue circles showing through. We want to get rid of those, so I just keep applying it to try and add more texture on there. And then when you have it to where you think it's good, and it's built up enough, then what you're going to do is you're going to peel off the stencil, and this is so that it doesn't make a big mess. And careful not to get this texture paste outside of the stencil. If you do, you can just scratch it off with your finger, which I'm going to do here in a second. So here you can see I'm scratching off the excess that I don't really want to be sticking on there. To let this dry before we do anything else. And while this is drying, we're going to flip it and we're going to do the same thing to the other side, so you can take any of the extra off of your scraper tool and put it back in or use it again. So here we're going to do the next other side with the same exact technique, just pushing it, the texture paste, into the stencil. Now when I go to clean up, I'm going to put any extra back in the texture paste. Be sure to close it really good so it doesn't dry up on you. And then we're going to wipe everything down with a wipe to get any excess texture paste off of our stencil, off of our swiper tool, off of our palette knife. And then we can put those away. Now I have used the Heat It tool and let mine dry, so it's not going to be smudging on me. And I am using a regular ballpoint pen, just one that you have laying around your house, and mine is the color black. And I'm going around and outlining these circles with that pen. Now we're going to attach this to our tip-in and make sure that it's facing the right way, because one way may be longer than the other and one way may be shorter. And you can attach this in multiple ways. You can use AdTech craft tape, you could use mounting squares, you could even use a glue stick. I am going to be using some mounting squares, and so I am going to put those every few inches and then take off the double-sided tape and attach that to the inside of my tip-in. Now, even after I do that, there's still a little bit that's off with this paper, and so I just use a paper cutter and I remove any that's sticking outside just to clean it up. Now, using the two tags or tabs, in your kit. One is for the front and one is for the back. I'm going to attach these to the very top of the tip-in. I start off using AdTech craft tape, but my dispenser is busted, and so I make it through one of them using that, and then I switch to mounting squares. Either will work. Next, on the inside, we add the sticker that has the part of the devotional on it. We're just going to center that, and then we're going to attach the very large butterfly. First, we're going to fold it in half, and then we're going to use a glue stick, acid-free, and we're just going to attach one half of it onto the white part of the tip-in. The other half, we're going to just let it flap up and down so you can see underneath it if you move it. Now I've taken the 3 other butterflies in the kit and I've placed them where I want them to go, and then I'm going to attach them all using the glue stick. And again, I'm only going to do half so that the other wing can pop up off of the page. The one above this one, I'm going to glue the entire butterfly down, both of the wings. I'm going to save that last little butterfly for later, and now I'm going to attach the tip-in to my margin. And I'm going to do this by attaching it with photo mounting squares, and then I'm also going to double reinforce it with a stapler. The stapler is a little bit risky because you can not always see where the staple is going to go, and like in this case I actually end up ripping the page with it, but you can fix that by putting washi tape on the other side. So stapler is decorative. It adds another visual element to it. It also does help it to stay on the page as well, but again, just so you know what those risks are. Now I've figured out where I want these other butterflies to go in my footer, and I'm going to attach them, both sets of wings, down into the footer using my glue stick. Now I'm going to use my word strip stickers, and I'm going to put them on this side of the tip-in, and I'm going to line it up so that it's on the right side of the tip-in going, so they're all lined up on top of each other on the right side. And with these word strips, you usually want to do a longer strip and a shorter strip so that they're not all the same length right in a row. The width, I guess, is what they are. So you want to line them up and then make it so that the widths vary. Next, using mounting squares on only half of the tab that goes at the top of the page, you can see how I've lined mine up here so that the bottom half will stick and the top half will go up above the page. I'm going to attach the tab to the top of the page. I'm going to either fold over or cut off any excess of those mounting squares. In this case, I'm folding them over, and then I'm going to stick them on. And now I have put this kind of close to my binding, and the problem I found is it kept popping off. You can see on the right side there, it's kind of popping off close to the binding. So you may want to move it a little bit further away from the binding than I did. And here I'm using this cardstock butterfly. It's not vellum, so I'm not using a glue stick. I'm using the mounting squares to attach this as well, and I'm going to put this on top of the tab. Finally, I'm going to highlight the verse using an orange mild liner marker, and I'll have the link to that in the video description. And then we're going to be done with this page. I hope you guys liked learning these new art techniques and creating a tip-in, and make sure to subscribe so that you can stay up to date on all the latest videos coming out, and give it a good thumbs up, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.